Welcome back, DoomTubers. Game discussion time. Haven't done one of these in a while. And it's not over the game that I should be doing a discussion on because I beat it a long time ago. It's over my current obsession of Pokemon. It's no secret that I'm a big fan of the series, and if you watched my last pickup video, you saw the crapload of games that I picked up in the series because I, had a mass exodus of them a long time ago. But I'll talk about that in another video. I'd like to do like a series, kind of, my history of / discussion of the series at some point. But this is just a discussion over one specific game, and that is Pokemon HeartGold for the Nintendo DS. Now I know what you're thinking. If you did watch my last video, I said that I didn't have this game. And I did not lie. This is not mine. This is Haas's copy, or Corruption. He lent this to me. This was actually before he gave back my red and blue copies. I was in the mood to play it. I just had to get it out of my system. I was like, dude, can I just borrow a Pokemon game so I can play? And he was kind enough to lend me the one that he didn't have a meaningful game save on. He just had, very little, like an hour or two or the gameplay, just a few Pokemon, not really anything really serious, just something just dicking around, like he started the game just because. And so he was kind enough to say, hey, sure. And so I brought this home, and it just so happens that Pokemon Gold is arguably my favorite game in the series. So it was even sweeter that this was the version. If you're unfamiliar with the Heart Gold and Soul Silver DS games, they are remakes of the original Game Boy Color games with the names Pokemon Silver and Gold. And so they rebooted them and ported them to the DS. And when I use the term reboot pretty loosely because they are still so true to the originals. Gold and Silver, or Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I've played them both. You get every bit of the nostalgia that you had for those old games, for Gold and Silver. Every bit of nostalgia, but with a new, really great looking coat of paint, and a ton, and I stress, a ton of fan service and bonus content in the game. And one of the reasons why this Gold and Silver, even at the beginning, were huge games, huge. Twice the undertaking that Gold and Silver, or excuse me, Red and Blue and Yellow were. Because in those games, for one, there was only 150 Pokemon to catch, 151. And secondly, there was just 8 badges, and then you beat the Elite Four, and game over. You've won. You've won the game. Now all that's left to do is collect Pokemon if you want to. You don't have to. That's completely optional. So when you play Gold and Silver, the formula doesn't change necessarily. You still start a new game as a new character. You get a Pokemon. You set out on your journey. You collect 8 badges, thwart the enemy, Team Rocket in the process, and then you go and you fight the Elite Four. So you think game over. Well, the first time you play it and you have no idea, you think that's game over. Wrong. There's still a whole lot to do in the game. You go back to the original region, the Kanto region, and you get to re-explore that entire area that you explored in Red and Blue. Some of the things are a little bit different because some time has passed, like 3 years or something like that has passed. So the landscape has changed a little bit, and like for one major landscape change is like the Cinnabar Island used to be an island with a town on it, and it was a volcano and it erupted and it changed the landscape of everything there. So like the gym was in a new place and the island had changed. And new gym leaders and a new Elite Four, obviously. And yeah, so you get to re-explore that entire area, which is just nostalgia incarnate, and you get to go collect all 8 badges from that region. So by the time you're done, you have 16 badges, and then you can face the Elite Four again. And this time, they are twice as strong. They are so powerful. And also, you get to face, spoiler alert, you get to face Red or Ash, yeah, for fans of the anime. Uh, After, or you can actually do that before you beat the Elite Four again. You don't even have to beat the Elite Four again if you don't want to. All you really need to do is collect the 16 badges, but there is an added challenge to facing the Elite Four again because they are so powerful. Um, so then the end of the technical end of the game is after you've beaten the Elite Four twice and you've beaten Red or Ash. Then then it's game over. Aside from the bonus content, and that's just the standard gold and silver. Now, in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the format doesn't change. That everything I just said is the same, except now, after you've beaten the Elite Four the first time, Professor Oak gives you the National Pokedex, which includes Pokemon from Red, Blue, Gold, Silver, Ruby, Sapphire, Diamond, Pearl, and of course Yellow, Crystal, and Platinum also. So it contains Pokemon from all generations. Like the Pokedex has all the information, and also trainers from all over Kanto, and including the Elite Four, the second time you face them, have Pokemon from all regions also. So there's just tons and tons and tons, hundreds of Pokemon to catch, and you can trade Pokemon from your Diamond, Pearl, Platinum games onto this version and use them if you want to. And there is a few added things that they don't come out right and tell you these things. There's a couple of not so much Easter eggs as they are just like rewarding the people that continue to play the game and explore different things. After you beat Red, you are given if you go to talk to Professor Oak, and you are given a starter Pokemon from Red, Blue, Yellow, or not Yellow, Red, Blue. Like you're given the option of a Charmander, of a Squirtle, or a Bulbasaur, which is just amazing. And they're level 5, and so it's just they're starters. And then you beat the Elite Four again, and if you've beaten the Elite Four twice, and you have beaten Red, and you do a couple of other small like roundabout things, like you have to get the ticket to the magnet train and like something like that. You have to, if you go to the Silphco building, you could talk to a man named Steven, I think is his name. I never played the Ruby Sapphire games, so I don't know who this character is necessarily, but I'm looking forward to Omega Ruby, which I have pre-ordered, so that's going to be awesome. But anyway, he gives you, if you follow the pattern, he gives you a starter from the Ruby Sapphire generation. So you get either a Torchic, a Mudkip, or a Trico, which is even cooler. Just like so much fan service within this game. And not only that, but within the game still are opportunities to catch pretty much all of the flagship legendary Pokemon. So not only do you get Ho-Oh and Lugia from Gold and Silver, but you can also get the 3 legendary birds, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres from the original generation, Raikou, Entei, and Suicune, the legendary beasts, and you don't get a Mew or Mewtwo, but you do have the opportunity, if you do things right, which I don't know how to do because I didn't do it, you could get a Kyogre and a Groudon, and then also a Dialga, Palkia, and I'm not sure if you can get a Giratina or not. You probably can, because you can get a Rayquaza too. So there's an opportunity here. Like if you have both versions, gold and silver, because you have to have both of the legendaries. Like you have to have both Kyogre and Groudon in your party or whatever to get Rayquaza and blah blah blah. There's lots of steps to follow, but if you want to, if you're devoted to it, there is just a ton of content in these games, and it's just a really fantastic experience for new and old fans. Because new fans, you get thrust into the meat of it. I mean, I don't know how long the other games are, but I put about 45 and a half hours into this game. And it was kind of a sprint, really, though. I was really powerhousing through. I wasn't really taking my time. There was a few times that I did have to grind because I wasn't quite strong enough, but it wasn't for, I don't even think any of the badges I had to grind for. I think I was pretty well equipped for all of those. But when it came to fighting the Elite Four, I'm not sure if I had to do a whole lot of grinding the first time. Maybe some grinding the first time, but I did an awful lot of grinding the second time, and I had to do some grinding before I could face Red. And also, I did borrow a couple of Pokemon from Haas too, just because it's like, man, I'm not like in a hurry to be done with it necessarily, but I don't want to spend a ton more time training. So I did borrow his Giratina and a Garchomp, which were like mid 60 or mid 60 or low 70 level when I borrowed them, and I think they're maybe around that too now. They only gained maybe a couple levels in fighting, but even when I got them, even when I borrowed them, I still had to do some grinding. What really did it was actually getting Lugia, who's level 70 when you catch him in HeartGold. That really helped a lot, and I had a level 75 Houndoom, which was fantastic because Houndoom is like one of my all-time favorites. And my starter even wasn't that high level. I think or low 60s, like level 62. I chose Totodile in the beginning because he's just a beast, and finished the game. I think he was like level 70, or excuse me, 62. So if you're a Pokemon fan, you kind of know like all these things I'm talking about. This is all kind of old news, and for like non-fans, I guess, if you're watching this video, some of it may or may not make sense, but what can be said about the series that hasn't been said? It's just a really simple RPG. It's very casual. It's very fun, and I did things in this game that I've never spent any time on before. I used to just focus all my time on my starter Pokemon, and really like it's really rough to face the Elite Four with just the starter. Like for some reason, I think even if my Feraligatr was level 100, I still would have had trouble with certain Pokemon in the Elite Four, and then Lance the champion because of his freaking dragons. But I think I still would have had trouble even if he was level 100 because it's a difficult fight. I don't know if you're familiar with the games, you know what I'm talking about, and but it's fun. Like I never feel bogged down by it. It's not like a frustrating RPG final boss battle where it's just cheap, and it sucks. It's hard. It's not like that at all. It's an immense challenge at times, but never feels too overwhelming. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into this too far, but needless to say, Heart Gold is definitely better to me, better than the original Gold. This is definitely my favorite now. It's just such a fantastic game, and I will give this back eventually. But I do plan on to Haas eventually. But I do plan on waiting until at least I start my platinum that I just got, so I can trade over my personals, the ones I raised, not his, the ones I raised off of here onto my platinum game. I forgot to mention the other thing that I spent a lot of time on that I've never done before. I spent probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours today alone breeding Pokemon at the daycare. I just threw my Ditto in the daycare and I bred my Umbreon, which I mentioned that I've never had an Umbreon before. I got my Eevee to evolve into Umbreon. I bred my Umbreon until I got another Eevee. I bred. Uh, what else did I do? I bred my Houndoom into a Houndour, which is the lower evolution, so I can trade that to my platinum game, and I can play my game with a Houndour again. Uh, so I did those two, and then I focused on the Pokemon that I had caught that breed baby Pokemon, which is a whole new thing for it's weird to explain if you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you breed a Pikachu with a Ditto, you get a Pichu, which is a lower evolution of Pikachu, but you can't catch a Pichu at least in these games. I don't know about any of the others like later on. I don't know, but you can't catch a Pichu. You have to breed it to get it. And same with an Igglybuff, which is the baby Jigglypuff, and a Smoochum, which is a baby Jinx, which I have now, and a Magby, which is a baby Magmar. I really wanted to get an Elekid, but Gold. I don't think I can catch Electabuzz in HeartGold. I think that's a Soul Silver exclusive. And same with Magmar on here. I don't think Magmar is on Silver. So I didn't get an Elekid, but I have a Magby, and I plan on trading over. And I have the Eevee, which I plan on trading over, the Houndour, and that will probably be it for the babies. I got a Smoochum and an Igglybuff, just because I could. Since I was doing that, I was breeding Pokemon, so I was like, what the heck, I'll just flesh out the Pokedex a little bit with these babies, and who knows, maybe I'll go back to this game at some point and try to catch more Pokemon. I'm not sure because that's never really been my thing with the Pokemon games. I never have focused on catching. I only did it one time with Red and Blue. I did have all 151 at one time, and that was enough. That was a pain in the tuchus enough, because it took me trading from my friend's game to my game and then trading back, and also me playing through one of the games, because I had both Red and Blue, and it was my Blue version that I was working on for some reason. I don't know why I didn't stick with Red, but it took me playing up to a certain point in Red again just so I could get another Eevee, so I could get the extra evolution that I didn't have from my friend's game or from my game. So that was the only time that I ever tried for all of them. But back when it was just 150, 151, it was totally manageable, totally doable. If you had one friend, or you had both copies, if you had two games, Red and Blue, and two Game Boys and a link cable, or a friend with the opposite version, totally doable to get all of them. But even with just Gold and Silver, adding the Pokemon that they did, and plus all original 151, it just made it crazy. And then it just escalated from there. So that's about it for this video. I've talked quite a while. Needless to say, big fan of the game, and looking forward to playing X, which is what I'm playing next. And then hopefully, if I'm not burnt out after playing X, I probably will play either start Platinum, or I will play Omega Ruby, which comes out next Friday, and I will have it. That's it. Pokemon rant over. Thanks for watching. Doom Waves out.